Hello doll friends, this is Michael Kanadas with the Grovian Doll Museum and Carmel Doll Shop. We are on our third installment of our Kestner King of Dollmakers. So earlier we looked at some paper maches from the 1820s era into the 1830s era. So technically we would call the 1830s era the Biedermeier era. That's a term you often hear with furniture, and we will be getting to furniture later on. Now we're going to move into what is called the Romantic era. So basically, we have the same type of body in the Romantic era. Nothing's really changed there. What has really worked great about this for the Kestner Company is this was an ideal body in the Empire era. But in the 1840s and 1850s, particularly the 40s, there was a lot of tuberculosis. And that changed the feminine and male figure. That's why you will see a lot of clothing that will be very, very tiny. With tuberculosis comes malnourishment. Tuberculosis did not discriminate. If you were rich or poor, if it got you, it got you. But it added a willowy, beautiful, in a sad way, to the Romantic age. So we're going to look at two of absolutely, I know I've said it many times in videos, my favorites. But these are two of my favorites in our collection of Kestner dolls and in our collection, period. Now I think, as I've said earlier, the paper mache is actually composition. However, in these pieces, it does actually incorporate what we would think of as paper mache, and that is in the hats. I know that there's a lot of collectors that collect dolls with molded hats. I'm one of them. So I'm first going to show you this lady. And what I meant by the Romantic era is you can see the little tiny waist and the bell-shaped dress, but it's actually very simple. It's got the beautiful facial painting, which Kestner's known for throughout, from the beginning until the very end. She's got a wrap around her ear. The ear would be exposed if it were, if there was one. There isn't. But this is very, very fine paper mache. Now the hat, and I'll show you the back. The hat is actually pressed cardboard. So it's, cardboard is made by many, many layers of paper. So I think we could definitely say that that's paper mache. And then there is just this little hint of human hair, and it's really very close to the color of our 1820s lady. Now, I've never undressed the doll. I would absolutely recommend to any of you out there that if you're lucky enough to get one of these, it doesn't matter what the condition of the body, if it's holding together, do not ruin it by taking the clothes off, because look at these cuffs. You'll never get that off without totally ruining the piece. But it's a beautiful piece, and you can see that what was considered beautiful would be pale skin and bright pink cheeks, hair slicked down probably with bear grease or some kind of duck fat or something like that. That was one of the things that they used for hairdressing. Now, this is one of our favorites, and it's a Germanic military costume. It could actually even be a police officer. I am not sure. I'm not an expert in military wear. But all this trim is very, very tiny soutache trim. And another thing I think is very interesting about this doll that I haven't seen on any other doll, they have left the legs with a natural finish and a stain. They haven't painted it other than it looks like they put buttons, as in making it a pair of stockings, and then created little boots. Again, it's the same concept of the paper mache for the head. You know, it's all molded except the bill of the cap. That is actually a piece of cardboard. So, you know, he's got all of the features that you'd want to see in a man from his time frame. Mutton chop, sideburns, the mustache. One thing that is unusual is the brown eyes, because most of the paper maches by Kestner have blue eyes. I have seen brown eyes, but the blue definitely dominates. And another interesting feature, you'll only see it in the era, so visualize if he had his hat off, his hair is parted from the front of his head all the way to the back. But there is a funny little thing that they did do. His hair's dark, his sideburns are light, and his mustache is light. So I guess the painter changed their mind as they were doing it. And note the little chin strap that goes right from his cap to under his chin. So these are amazing dolls. The thing about these is if you have an opportunity to get them, if I don't see them, I think you should absolutely grab them, because they're some of my favorite pieces, and they are very, very rare. I think that they're the kind of rare doll that it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it to get them. You just have to be lucky in order to have them. And we consider them some of our rarest treasures in our Kestner collection. Another thing that's very interesting about the paper maches, earlier I talked about the importance of the mold makers and the molds. The Kestner company had very good molds. It was very easy for them to transition from the paper mache as they went out of fashion into the China head, which came into fashion. And here's a fabulous document that we have of a China head by Kestner. What's very interesting, and you can see, I don't care that it has these little boo-boos. We have had on quite a few occasions this very head in paper mache. So they would take the mold and utilize it for the next go-round, which would be the China head. And you can almost see in this is a childlike doll, but you could almost see it. The work of Kestner translates from paper mache to the media of China. Well, thank you, friends, for tuning in to this segment of Kestner, King of Dollmakers. If you've enjoyed it, follow us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, and subscribe. Bye-bye.